Long before there were pharmacies, there were healers. Mothers, fathers, and neighbors who turned to the earth for wellness. Welcome to the Reality of Herbal Therapy podcast with Jim Applegate. Each week we explore the plants, traditions, and time-honored remedies that connect us to that ancient wisdom, so you can bring it into your modern life.
So this week is a really special week. It marks 250 years since the group of colonists got together and they're like, we have the right to govern ourselves. No king, no one telling them how to live their lives. This week, we're going to talk a little bit. So that's the Declaration of Independence that was signed 250 years ago. We're going to talk about a different one, Dr. James's Declaration of Health, the right that you have to choose how to care for your own body.
Yep, Dad wrote about it directly, and he said, when our founding fathers won freedom from the British Empire, they didn't ask the British for permission on how to run things. He asked, why would we ask permission from the pharmaceutical industry on how to run our own healing?
So today we want to talk about that freedom of health choice, what it means, and why Dr. James felt so strongly about it, and how you can exercise that freedom responsibly in your life. Dr. James said, let us declare our independence and act like a freed healthcare system. We should tell them to govern their own and leave us alone. Kind of funny because Dr. James's favorite holiday, I think, was Independence Day.
Oh, he loved it. They had a huge party every year that brought people together to celebrate that freedom.
Yep. So in Dr. James's book, The Reality of Herbal Therapy, which, this podcast is based on and everything, he had a chapter called Chemo Gods.
Not as an insult to medicine itself, but to the chemical drug industry and its advertising machine. He pointed out that over 60 million Americans use herbal remedies or alternative healthcare every year. More people, by some estimates, than see conventional doctors. And yet that industry spends enormous resources trying to convince people their choice is wrong.
Yeah, and it's when he talks about that, Dr. James would get it was a love-hate thing. He loved to watch the commercials for drugs and different things on TV, just because to point out, a commercial for a drug is 60 seconds long, and 30 seconds is all about the drug, and then 30 seconds is about the side effects and just the effect of it. And so when he wrote that book, it was in the early 2000s, like 2003, 2004. In 2004, I believe there was 100,000 recorded deaths attributed to drugs and negligent healthcare.
Over 250 deaths directly attributed to hospital negligence. That's like crazy. Deaths attributed to alternative healthcare in the same year were 11. Let's repeat that because Dad always repeated it. 11. That's a lot smaller than 100,000 and 250,000. The numbers alone make the case for why this freedom matters.
Yeah. And he wasn't trying to be dramatic about it. Which system has which. There's a lot to it, but he wanted you to make sure that you knew you had the choice.
And he really believed that, and this works in family, this works in personal, this works in everything. Any system that holds itself up as the only legitimate authority, dismissing anything outside itself as inferior or dangerous, without ever earning the authority through actually understanding the alternative, is crazy. Anything in life, we should be able to look at the other things. If there's things they're hiding, we get to see it in our government, in our schools, in our everything right now. And even some families run that way. It's Dad's way or the highway. And it's Dad believed in choice and in educating yourself so that you could take the best care of your body that you can, not having it taken over or giving away your freedom on that to someone else.
Yeah, there was a movie I remember seeing a while ago where he said, my way, no highway option.
Yeah.
That basically when people react like that, sometimes you're like, there might be more to it. But the important thing is Dr. James always emphasized being responsible about it, not being reckless. That freedom of health choice, there's a responsibility. There's it's different, than when you go to a doctor, you tell them this is what's going on, and they're like, here, take this pill, and they have a protocol that they follow for you. Dr. James wanted you to learn for yourself and responsibly learn for yourself and make those decisions for yourself and when you have the right information.
Yeah. So I love Dad's Boy Scout analogy, which kind of works with that. It was a comparison he absolutely loved. Just because a Boy Scout earned a plumbing merit badge doesn't mean you'd hire him to plumb your new house. Most people, speaking out against herbs, have studied drugs, not herbs. They're not qualified to be the authority on something they never studied. Trust an herbalist about herbs.
Yeah, it's kind of like my sister. I had given her one of our formulas, anti-spaz, and the she it was really, really helping her a lot. And the doctor said, "Well, what's helping?" And she's like, "Oh, I've got this bottle of stuff." And the doctor went off. It's like, "Oh, you never know what they put in there, and it's full of this and this and this, and there's all of these dangerous chemicals and all of this stuff. It could kill you. You really shouldn't be taking that." And for my sister, she's like, "My brother makes it. I know what's in it. I know that there's nothing bad in there." She's like, "Do you put these things in there? Do you put this or that?" And I'm like, "No, those are dangerous." It's like we know what's dangerous and we don't include in there. But that doctor had just heard from somebody that when you get something, it's got something dangerous in it. Like it was just interesting that the
The indoctrination in the system.
yeah. Yep. So Dr. James had 5 questions for evaluating any health claim. So anytime somebody makes a claim, ask these 5 questions to help you work through the information. So the first question, number 1, does it make sense or is it confusing on purpose? Like, you have to follow this exact regimen and it's kind of confusing. When do I take it? How do I take it? If it makes sense and it's easy, it's something to think about.
Who is saying it? Do they actually have expertise in this specific area?
And that's really important to look at, so
Well, I would say expertise in this specific area, but a lot of times in our natural health, with what we do, it's not just do they have expertise in this area, but I guess that expertise counts if it is just your experience in that area. Because I'm not a trained doctor, I'm not a trained herbalist, I'm not a trained anything, but my experience is 50 years worth of herbal experience and successes with how they work and what happens, and that I don't have any side effects, and that my children don't have side effects, and that we're not addicted to all of those other things. So really check what your source is. Do they actually have expertise in this specific area, or are they experienced and practice and have I don't even know how to word that.
yeah. So number 3, why are they saying it? What's their motivation?
Is it dollars and money?
Dollars and money. You know, the some people somebody was in talking the other day about hospitals that, when you go to a hospital, there's the administration that says how the doctors are supposed to do things. And most of that administration are not medical doctors. They're businessmen. They're said, there's
It's about the money and
motivation.
moving it through, and
Yeah.
even with the insurance companies, that's why they don't cover herbs, because they can't monetize it. They
Right.
can't, like, control it. They can't. So the doctors and hospitals and everything are a business just like any other business, and the bottom line, the dollar amounts really matter for them.
Yeah.
So,
And we're not saying that, doctors are bad or doctors,
no.
are money grubbing or even the administrators.
There's amazing doctors out there, and
Mhm.
I am so grateful that they're there when I need them. Like, this is
Yeah.
not it's just a being aware. We're just saying, be aware of your sources, their motivation, what they're doing, and why they're doing it.
Yeah. Number 4, be suspicious of a newfound information attacking something that's been used safely for centuries. Dr. James, one of the big stories that he talked about when we were working on the Reality of Herbal Therapy book, there was a young lady who had gone to a track meet and died of a heart attack. And so they were trying to figure out why she died, like a teenager in high school. And they opened up her stomach and she had taken some ephedra capsules before the race. And they're like, that's it. That's why she died. But the interesting thing is, and everybody accepted it. They're like, okay, she died because of she
The
took
funny
this
thing is,
herb.
if those capsules weren't even open, it wouldn't have done anything.
Right. So until somebody said, wait a minute, the capsules never opened up in her stomach. So it was something else that caused the problem. But the first thing they found that they could blame was herbs.
Happened to be an herbal thing.
Yeah. And so it's something, that's been used for a long time, that a lot of, it's
Yeah. So why this matters more than ever. Oh, okay.
you skip number 5.
Oh, I skipped number 5. Oops. Okay. Time has already tested most herbal remedies. That track record matters. Now, I pay attention to the most because there's even new fandangled ideas people come up with some herb or some plant they found or whatever. We're talking the tried and true for centuries herbs that have been used and used as the whole herb, not taken apart in pieces, not segmented, not fractionated, not any of those things. We're talking straight up herbs. So why this matters more than ever. We're surrounded by more health information than any generation in history. I mean, seriously, you scroll online and it'll feed you anything you want or don't want. And a lot of it is designed to confuse rather than clarify, or to make you feel foolish for asking questions. Dr. James wanted people to think clearly, not following blindly in either direction, not the herbal direction, not the medication
medical
direction. Yeah.
So, there's kind of a double standard that Dr. James talked about. Him and Veronica wrote an article about we're living in a drug-free society. They actually were in a grocery store that had a pharmacy in it, and they had a sign, drug-free America. It was a big thing at the time. And he's like, we go around telling kids not to do drugs, and then in the next breath give them an aspirin for a headache. It's like it's a double standard. Kids are like, well, isn't this a drug? But I'm not supposed to do drugs. It's just that double standard of it's okay to self-medicate, but not drugs, but they are drugs.
Yeah. And it creates a lot of confusion for kids. So the the chemical versus the chemical principle, this was foundational to how he taught. No, how he thought. If your thyroid isn't working right, the conventional approach is to supply thyroxine from outside. Dad's question was always, wouldn't it be better to give the thyroid what it needs to make its own thyroxine? Same with the example he used about asthma and steroids. Controlling the symptoms while quietly putting the adrenal glands on vacation weakened the very system that needed to get stronger.
Yeah, and that's a big difference between the herbal therapy that we talk about. Is we're supporting and building the body, and not just covering up the symptoms or dealing with the symptoms.
If I had a piece of poop in my yard, like a whole bunch of it in my yard, I would not just go lay a napkin on every one of them and walk away. I would want to clean it up and increase the health of my lawn. Not, I mean, just seriously, if I left that and ignored it, if the napkins were covered in a pretty smell, so it ignored the side effect, somebody's still going to step in it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. So yeah.
Yeah. So, and we're not talking anti-medicine. We're talking about being responsible.
Being responsible and making those choices. And we totally support everyone that uses, no matter what it is they decide to do for their health. That is their right and their freedom. And that's part of what Dr. James wanted. If you choose doctors, choose doctors. If you choose herbs, choose herbs. Like it's the right to be able to make those choices and to be educated in that direction and to choose it. So there was a story Dad would tell with this analogy about a hill with health at the top. There's a well traveled highway, the conventional pharmaceutical path, and most people are on it. Off to the side is a trail, narrow with obstacles, boulders, bushes, gullies. Fewer people are on it, but it's well worn by those who've gone before.
Yeah, and so on the highway, like the analogy is there's a highway, 8-lane highway going up to the top of this hill. But on that hill, nobody drives themselves. Somebody else drives you. You get in
You
a
have a
car
chauffeur.
and you get taken to the top of the hill, and you're not allowed to question what's happening, what parts they want to remove from you. You arrive at the top of the hill, but are you actually healthy, or do you get there surrounded by scooters and wheelchairs and oxygen tanks, things that help you manage being unwell rather than actually being well?
On the trail, every step is a choice you make. It's harder. There are guides who've walked it before to help you. But at the top, you arrive healthy, not just transported there, but actually changed by the walking. No baggage you couldn't carry yourself. It makes me think of what is that movie? Is it the Wally? Wally. They end up on this ship with all these people that are on
Floating scooter things
these little floating scooter things, and something happens on that ship and those people can't even walk because they have been
managed.
managed on those little floating things for so long, and I don't even think they saw the outside. They didn't even know they were in space with stars because they were glued to their gadget being fed all the doctrine that kept them on their floating device, so they couldn't even walk or move or be real live healthy people.
Yep. So, Dr. James, his analogy was everybody wants to get to the top of the hill. And herbal therapy deals with getting you to the top of the hill, or conventional therapy gets you to the top of the hill. And just in what state do you want to get to the top of the hill at? So, this isn't about rejecting doctors or emergency care when you need it. Those are very, very important. Like Lynn said, she's very grateful that we have those available. But you don't have to blindly accept one system over the other, or accept that one system has all the answers. You don't have to outsource your thinking.
Yeah, and there's how I actually do this is I ask Dr. James's 5 questions before accepting any health claim on face value. In either direction, I am a researcher and I've kind of trained my kids in that method, and there's so many people that love the knowledge, that love these things. So also I find a practitioner with real expertise in the area I'm asking about. So that really, really helps me. And then I take responsibility for understanding my own conditions, not just following orders. And that's something that anybody can do. Ask, like, what's really going on? What am I fixing? What am I not fixing? And all of the other questions in Dr. James's 5 questions. Okay, so then remember that newfound alarm about long used herbs deserves scrutiny. So there's so many times, I mean, especially on Facebook, on TikTok, on all sorts of stuff, you can see, oh, they just found out that this, and this is wrong with this herb and it does this thing. And you hardly ever hear that. Well, actually, you're hearing it more and more about some of the drugs and stuff too, but it's all just be very cautious, just like you would anything else in your life. Check the sources, find out what they're talking about. Use Dr. James's 5 questions.
Yeah. So 250 years ago, people got together and decided they had the right to govern themselves. Kind of makes me think the story of Benjamin Franklin after after they had finished up the Constitution. Somebody asked him something, and he said, "Well, I've helped create a republic. Now it's up to you to keep it." It's a lot of hard work to keep our republic and to keep building, that health. But that freedom to choose is something you also want to do the work of learning, asking questions, and taking responsibility for that choice. So, like people, when the framers of the of the Declaration of Independence said that we don't need permission from government to determine, and they use 3 words: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Dr. James believed that exact same principle applies to our health. We don't have to have permission from an industry or, certain group of people to decide how we're going to live our lives and how we want to be healthy.
Yep. This is Independence Day. As you're thinking about everything that this country has been through to get here, take a minute to think about your own declaration. What does freedom of health choice look like for you? What responsibilities are you ready to take for your own healing?
Yep. So use those 5 questions next time there's a health claim that confuses you, or, it like gets you all stirred up, and take that responsibility upon yourself and ask why. What's the freedom of That's what your freedom of choice, your freedom of health actually requires.
And we love helping with those kinds of questions. If you're confused and you wonder about something, if we can help you find those answers, just give us a call. Look online, listen to our podcasts, because it helps to educate you about how your body truly functions and what natural health options there are that can help you through those things happening, rather than just covering it up and stuff. We love to help with education. That's why we do what we do. Why the education is moving forward is because you need to be able to make those choices, to be able to hold on to your freedom.
Yeah. So we're going to end with the 5 questions. Question 1, does it make sense, or is it confusing on purpose? Question 2, who is saying it? Do they actually have expertise in this specific area? Question 3, why are they saying it? What's their motivation? Question 4, be suspicious of newfound information attacking something used safely for centuries. And question 5, time has already tested most herbal remedies. That track record matters.
Yep.
So it's been wonderful spending this time with you. If you have questions, let us know. We love to help and educate you. And we will talk to you later.
Thanks. Enjoy your freedom.
You've been listening to the Reality of Herbal Therapy podcast with Jim Applegate. Visit drugfreehelpstore.com to download your free Healer in Every Home guidebook and explore herbal formulas that support your health naturally. Be sure to follow the podcast, leave a review, and share it with someone who loves natural living as much as you do. Thanks for joining us, and remember, true healing starts at home.
It is not the intent of professional herbal instruction or any persons associated therewith to diagnose or prescribe. The intent is only to offer herbal information for your consideration. In the event you use this information without your doctor's approval, you are prescribing for yourself, which is your God-given right. But professional herbal instruction or any persons associated herewith assume no responsibility. The claims and statements made on this podcast have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.